Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel RGA Structure. In today's video, we'll be working through another example problem focused on the foundation. So let's dive into the problem. The concrete footing shown below is subjected to loads from a braced frame in an industrial building. Assume the footing is rigid compared to the soil. The density of the soil is 110 pounds per cubic foot. The density of concrete is 150 pounds per cubic foot. And we are required to determine the maximum bearing pressure under the footing. So this, as you can see here in the figure, we are given this footing 25 by 8. That is the dimension of the footing. And the depth is 2 feet. And we have the pedestal, 2 pedestal, the same size. And the layout of our pedestal and the footing is symmetrical. The purpose of this pedestal is to support the column here. We have the B-split here from the steel column of the frame, braced frame. This problem is very common to the industrial city where we have the prefabricated or pre-engineered steel structure. So the steel structure, or the steel manufacturer, they will provide us with a different load condition. So we will assume that this load, 90 kPa and 30 kPa, is the governing load. Now, let's go to the solution to find the maximum soil bearing pressure here. But take note, we have the uplift of 30 kPa here. So the 30 kPa and the 90 kPa is downward. So first of all, we need to determine the overturning moment. And we have only one overturning moment here. This 30 kPa that will, this is uplift, that will tend the foundation to rotate counterclockwise. So we will assume that the 2 at this point, so this is our reference for overturning. Then we have 30 kPa times the lever arms, 29.5 feet. That is from the centroid of pedestal, which is 30 kPa uplift load from here to there to our 2. This is our 2. This is 27.5. This is equal to 825 kPa feet. Then the next one is to determine the weight of the footing, pedestal, this one, and the overburdened soil above the footing. So we need to calculate that also. So first we need to calculate the footing, this one here, 30 times 8 feet, the width, and times the depth, times the density of concrete is 150 pounds per cubic foot. That would give us 72,000 pounds or 72 kPa. The next one is the pedestal. We have the pedestal here, the near end, and the far end, which is P2. Then the dimension of pedestal is 16 inches by 16 inches, all over 144. We will convert that into feet to be consistent with our units. Times the height of the pedestal is 3 feet times 150. A density of concrete, pounds per cubic foot. That would give us 800 pounds or 0.8 kPa. The next one is the soil, the overburdened soil. So this portion of soil, the whole thing here, we will consider it as an overburden of soil above the footing. which is 30 feet times 8 feet, which is the plan dimension of this footing, times 3 feet, the height of the soil, times the density of soil, 110 pounds per cubic foot. So we will deduct that footing in calculating the soil, because the weight of the soil has already been accounted here. So we will deduct 2 pedestal times 800 pounds. Each pedestal is equal to 7,600 pounds, or 77.6 kips. So that is the weight of the soil. So the total weight is 72 kips for footing, 0.8 for pedestal, 77.6 kip for soil, and that a total of 150.4 kips. Now the next one is the resisting moment. So we have the overturning moment counterclockwise, and that will counter with our resisting moment. So the resisting moment will counter that uplift with respect to the 2. So this downward force, that is our resisting moment, resisting load. Now, so the resisting load, which is P, that is downward, 90 times 2.5. From here to there, 2.5. And that would give us 225 kips feet. The next one is the footing. This footing, downward force, that will resisting moment clockwise. So the weight of footing is 72 times the moment arms, 2.5 time plus to the center of this one here, 25 over 2, and the total is 1080 kips feet for footing. The next one is the pedestal. So pedestal is 0.8 times 2.5. We have 0.8 kips each pedestal, 2 kips. We separate that one because the moment arms of first pedestal and second pedestal is different. Now, pedestal 2, 0.8 times the moment arm, 27.5. 27.5 from here to there, that is 25 plus 2.5, is equal to 22 kips feet for pedestal. Then the last one is the soil. Soil is 27.6. We have 27.6 times the moment arms of the soil. We can take the soil from this one here. Our soil is net 77.6 is the net soil. We already deducted the weight of the pedestal. So since the soil is symmetrical in our layout here, so we will just take it to the center. So weight of the soil times the moment arm, 2.5 plus 25 over 2, that would give us 1164 kips feet, the soil. So now the next one is the calculation of the total resisting moment. So we have 225 for the resisting load due to 90 kips. Then we have 1080 kips feet for foundation here. Then we have 2 kips feet due to P1, 22 kips feet due to far side P2, then plus 2264 due to soil. So the total is 2,493 kips feet. So the next one is to determine the location of our resultant force. So this is our resultant force actually, off-centered from the center line of footing. So we assume that it's somewhere here. I don't know where it is exactly because it is off-centered because the overturning moment is counterclockwise. There's a tendency that our resultant will move in the left side. So the X bar, the formula of X bar, calculating the X bar with reference to the 2 from this line here, X bar to the resultant load is resultant resisting moment, minus overturning moment all over resultant load. So 22,493, which is this one, minus the overturning moment, 825 kips, all over 154, the total reaction load, that is R, equal to 11.09. So this 11.09, that is within the middle third of the foundation. So we will assume that this one is effective. Our base of footing is effective. There's no tensions in the soil pressure. So the eccentricity is simply L over 2 minus X. So this is our eccentricity, center line of footing. So L over 2 minus X. So that is our eccentricity. L over 2 minus X is equal to 30 over 2 minus 11.09, which is X. So it's equal to 3.91. So in our turn limit, the footing is effective if it is less than or equal to L over 6. That is our turn limit, which means if the eccentricity is greater than L over 6, which means there is a tension in our footing. The geometry of our footing would be like this. There's a negative here. So now, L over 6 is equal to 30 over 6 is equal to 5. So see, this is greater than 3.96. So which means the entire base of the footing will be effective and no tensions occur. So this is our configuration of bearing pressure. It's a trapezoidal shape. Now the next one is to determine the soil bearing pressure. So we have this formula, R load over BL, the dimension of the footing, times 1 plus or minus 6 E over L. So take note, this equation is only valid if our footing is rectangular in shape, regular size, rectangular. So L is the length of the footing, B is the width of the footing. So the minimum soil bearing pressure is 150 over length times width times 8 times 30, dimension of the footing, times 1 minus 6 times 3.91, which is eccentricity, over 30. So it's equal to 0.14 kSF. Then the maximum soil bearing pressure is 150.4 kips over 8 times 30. So we use 1 plus, that is the maximum, plus 6 times 391 feet over 30 feet. So the maximum soil bearing pressure is already determined 1.12 kSF, kips per square foot. So that is our maximum soil bearing pressure here in this side here. This is the minimum. So that concludes our solution to this problem. So thank you guys for watching, and if you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.